Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We've seen a few fads along the way, and one of them is these flick keys. Most people are wanting flick keys now, whether or not their car came with it or not. Looking at this Nissan Pathfinder key here, you can convert this one to a flick key, and that's what we're going to do now. Basically, for a lot of cars that didn't have flick keys, you can actually purchase them on eBay, and there are some also aftermarket ones by Silka and things where you can convert the key over to like a new shell and aftermarket remotes and do it that way. So if you don't want to go for a full aftermarket remote and reprogram it into the car, getting a new key shell with a flick key shell might be the option for you. Now this one here is just a Nissan, I think it's a Pathfinder, and it's a very straightforward remote in the head of the key. And here it is here, there's the blade. So what we'll do is we're going to swap one to the other, and then afterwards the blade can be cut. One thing I have noticed about this particular remote is that it is a little nasty. Like I can feel it in the plastic. It's not the same durable type of feel that I'm feeling here. The next thing is the little logo. It probably came with one, but I've most likely lost it along the way. The flick function does work, but sometimes it actually gets stuck, so you've got to give it a little hand there. Sometimes if you push the button down enough, you can get it all the way out, but whether or not that will improve over time, I don't know. I think it will. Maybe a little bit of spray might also help, but if I was giving this to a customer, I wouldn't be too happy with that. I'm noticing here that it's got like a bit of a half moon shape here, so when you push it, like normally your pressure would be pushing in this type of direction, but it's a bit of push and then release to get it to work. So push, it'll jam, and then release. So it'll probably get better over time, but I've seen better. Alright, so let's get into it now. Let's just open up this casing. For this I'm just using a very small Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm removing the three screws here. So this is an easy upgrade you can do for some of your customers if you wish. If you want to do it for yourself, you can buy it on eBay, transfer it over, and then get a locksmith to cut the key blade. Now already I can feel this popping out and wanting to spring, so most likely I'm going to be having to respring this. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to respring this, but I'm okay with that. So this spring here is actually, there's a little leg on this spring and it has to be in there and sprung, so it's going to be one of those, you know, type of twisting it back around. Alright, so there we are there, and I couldn't see any other way of avoiding that. Maybe if you hold one section to the other section, or you know the trick, maybe you can get away with it. Okay, so we're just going to remove the screw on this one and just prise this one open. Now this is a genuine remote here. It even has the frequency written on the back and all the rest. There's our battery. For reference, CR2016. So that battery needs to sit in that position. So I'm just looking at this here. The battery will sit like that, which will only give us one contact there. So we even need to remove that battery terminal section as well. Otherwise it's not going to work. And that's if that will even come off. Okay, let's have a bit of a deeper look here. So they didn't include any logos or anything in there, which is a little bit annoying. Now this battery will need to connect there, but there's two sides to this battery. Always a battery has a positive and negative. Top side with a big plus is a positive, bottom side is a negative. Negative would be going there. Same way we pulled it out of there. Which basically means that we need the outer bit here to connect to here. And on this remote control here, there is a little piece of metal which does exactly that. So what we're going to need to do is going to need to remove that without destroying it and popping it back in place of on the other side. Okay, so now it's out. So yeah, that will work. So the way this works is it picks up its negative from this four-leaf clover with the little prongs coming out, and then on the side here it picks up the positive and touches that into this section here. So hopefully that will sit in there properly. I mean, genuine stuff is way more robust than this sort of stuff. Now I'm just going to use my screwdriver here just to push it in there and pan it out a little bit, because we don't want this moving. Nothing worse than it moving. Okay, so that's looking fairly good. Actually, I tell a lie. It's cheap plastic. It's not looking that good at all. It'll work, but it's not looking great. I mean, not compared to an original remote control is what I'm trying to say. An original remote control has far superior plastics, far superior mounting. Just making sure that those terminals are on the side, and then definitely not going to come into contact with anything else but what we want. So now, when the circuit board goes on top, I'm just going to push that through. There's our two buttons. This rubber section, I think we can do without. There's the transponder in it there. That's one of those coil ones, as you can see. Just get a bit more clarity there. It's one of those coil ones. I mean, it would be nice to have the buttons there if we could, but I think we're going to have to leave them out. So over we go, putting that in place there. That will be sitting just like that. Then this will be coming over the top, just like this. And maybe we've got our board in wrong. So there is a few little holes in identifying lugs most of the time. Okay, yep, that's the way it goes. I can feel the buttons. Can we use that rubber boot? Because these rubber boots are really good at stopping moisture, sweat and all sorts of things coming back into your remote. And I don't know if they've allowed it within this housing. And just looking at the way it's sort of sitting up like that, I would say it's a no. Can it be done with that rubber on it? No, I don't think it can. But that rubber is there for a reason. So when you're doing this, you have to be aware that it's not going to be as strong as an original. So we place that on top. Now, recoiling this. So that's a spring-loaded section. So most likely we have to turn it a couple of notches. Where are we going here? That's where it will be. So it'll need to be on this side. So there'll probably be a big notch there, and we'd probably want to do one full revolution and then put it on, because we want it to have some sort of pressure, so that when there we go, that's one full revolution. So when we push that button, it's going to jump, and really spring that key out. Whoop. I think we've still got it there. I might have oversprung it, but we will soon find out. Now it's a simple matter of keeping this sprung section together as we marry the two up, which is easier said than done. Maybe a little bit of sticky tape would have really gone, would have probably worked well here. So I'm just lining up that button, bringing it back together, giving it the squeeze, and then we need to put our screws in. Before we go any further, let's just check. One button, two button, and yep. Okay, it's holding in there. Test. Button. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let's put some of these screws back in and see how it's working. So comparing it to a normal key, no, it's not as robust. The plastic isn't as good. It doesn't have the weatherproof shielding of that rubber, I don't know what you call it, rubber protection. This thing right here, it doesn't have that. The plastic is way cheaper. The battery clip is not as tidy as a genuine Nissan one, but you can do it, it will work. Not as good, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so there we have it. I'll zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so key goes in, that's fine. Push button, same as last time. So we've pushed it. See how it's getting stuck there? So maybe a little bit of spray might, help that just wear in. Button, and the transponder's in there too. So that, all fairness, is a working key. a bit of a gap happening here. Maybe it's just not tight enough. Yeah, it's just not tight enough. But that right now is ready to go. Now the reason we did it this way is that you don't have to reprogram the transponder now. All you have to do is cut the key, and then you've got exactly what you had before, a remote control and a key all in one. Transponder's in there, remote control's in there, battery's in there, everything's ready to go. I don't like this, the quality of this plastic. It's just not even. I'm going to try some spray because it's annoying me. I'm just going to a little bit of this lock lubricant here. So even that, I don't want to put too much of that in there because we've got that circuit board in there. Oh, made a big difference. At least now it's at least presentable to a customer as a working. Okay, and there you have it. So final test. Button works. That's fine. Rotating it over, all the screws are in tight. Probably put in the counterfeit logo if you've got one, if it came with one. I don't know what goes in this section here. Maybe there's another sticker there, who knows. Button, now that's quite strong. Well, it's strong, spring strong. A little bit of lubricant on it made a huge difference. But it just shows you how crusty those parts are not to be able to flick like that normally. It's doing it now, but it's, you know, I've worn it in a little bit. But it's pretty much ready to go and to give back to the customer. We do not sell these on our lock shop. It's not really a product that's, you know, great as far as quality. A lot of our locks and remotes we sell it like Silka or Key DIY, so the quality is better. So this type of thing you can purchase from eBay or from some Chinese lock reselling shops that sell keys, or AliExpress. It is good for people who would like a spare key and they don't want this type thing. Look, if you want a key in your pocket, then yeah, without having the key, that's fine. But you got to remember, as soon as this button's pressed, you know, it just pops out anyway. So you can have it in your pocket, popping open as well. It does have its functions. You know, flick key does have its function. The actual build of the plastic and all the rest, like I can see a bit of gap here as well. You can see that. See how you can see in there? That's not really quality to me. The blade itself is fine. I don't see any problem there. A lot of the time the blades, when you can buy aftermarket blades, and I've seen it mostly with the Toyotas, that they're a little bit thicker and they don't go into the ignitions properly. This one here is an N14, N14 and Nissan, and it seems to be just fine. When you line this key up, you line it up from the tip. So you'd line this one up tip and that one up tip, and you'd start cutting. It's got a roll pin in there as well, which is your standard like 1mm or 1.5 or so roll pin, so that's not a problem. The remote control, once again, as I said, without this weatherproof case and without this complete molded sort of case, is not going to be as secure as this one here. This one here has this rubber sort of diaphragm, and then it also is encased in a much tighter amount of plastic. So the plastic here is superior, the casing is superior to not let any moisture, sweat, water, anything like that sort of seep through into that circuit board or any corrosion. So it's more of a sealed unit, as where this one here is more of just a fancy unit. It's got more gaps. It's using like wood screws, as where this one here is using a metal screw, and it goes through the key blank, and the plastic squeezed together is enough to actually hold the remote in there and nice and tight, because the finish and the casting is just, hear that? Look at the seam. It's just so much more superior. That's why it's made by the manufacturer. And yeah, I wonder if you can actually pull this blade out. Yep, you can. So if you snap your key blade, you can actually get a replacement blade and keep everything. Pull the screw out, whack a new blade in there, and away you go. Look in this blade here too. A lot of wear on that blade, a lot of wear. So that's a flick key, a Nissan remote key into a Nissan flick key. Tell me which one you prefer. Tell me if your customers prefer the flick or if they prefer that one. Tell me if you've had any horror stories with these ones, because I can tell that just the gap and the casting and all the rest. It is a product, it does work, but I much prefer to keep them original, because the original have engineered it way past what these people have to make a quick dollar on this fancy flick key product. So that's my personal opinion. And you even get a little bit of foam here. See? Don't know what you're going to do with the foam. Maybe you could just polisher, okay? Or maybe it's to suck up all the lubricant that we've had to put in there to get it to move. Maybe that's what it's for, so you can give it back to the customer. Here, suck up all that lubricant, all the excess that I've had to spray around there. So it's to make it look presentable. And then will it work? Yeah, okay. And it works until the lubricant dies, and then it'll probably do that crusty half. Who knows? Leave your comments down below, and thanks for watching.